I suppose I come at it from a slightly different perspective in that I used to live in London, but I don't actually live in London now. I live in Yorkshire. So I welcome a show of hands as to how many people have actually travelled here today from outside of London and do on a regular basis.
Okay. And let's just ask them while you do. For how many of you did it take less than an hour to get here? Okay. And how many of you came from within London today? And for how many of you did it take more than an hour to get here? Very interesting. There you go.
Right, I'm not sure what that really tells us. But I suppose I bring a perspective to things from having lived in London for many years, but now living outside London, but find myself coming here most weeks, sometimes more than once a week. And it's tempting to say, what does London really need? This question's been posed to me, and the first thing that came to mind is it probably needs more Irish men and women like me who built most of London in the last century, as I'm sure Fiona will agree. But to be more serious about it, I think there's a point about the relationship between London and the regions, and I don't mean just the cliched northern powerhouse and all that brings with it. I see on a daily basis the impact that travelling, working for people well outside of London has on the quality of their lives. And for me, to get a greater balance in support of London to those regions and city regions all around the UK would actually benefit London in the longer term. And it's probably not something that gets as much voice and airtime as a theme from within London, because there is a danger, as wonderful as this city is, that it acts as a black hole for all light from UK to be sucked in and lost within it. So there are so many people that depend on coming here every day, working here every day from many places beyond London. And I think just recognising that and reflecting on it is quite valuable. The other point I wanted to add is about the skills needed from a partnership and collaboration perspective for the future. Construction industry, the industry that I'm closely involved in, construction and support services, is growing at over 2%, 2 to 2.5% annually, compound at the moment, and I know that's probably disproportionately higher in Greater London. We certainly worry and concern ourselves with the nature and level and quantum and speed of skills that are needed to fuel housing development, infrastructure development, and long-term management, including place management on a holistic sense. And for us as a business, the so-called STEM subjects are becoming more important, and there just simply aren't the numbers of people there that will actually help fuel the sustainability of this growth as a population has already tested. It's past its 1939 peak now, and it's going to continue to grow. That balance in Midlands, North, Southwest versus London, I think also, there's an argument to say that the infrastructure planning and focus to make things happen in a more balanced way needs to be delivered in a more balanced way. And I would, it's a personal view, not necessarily a corporate one, but I think HS2 should start in the north concurrently from its base in London, because that benefits everybody, both from a sustainable jobs perspective, but also rebalancing the whole economic footprint of the UK. And the final point I want to make is about sustainability, not the cliched mix and the terminology that's used around it, but really what does sustainability mean in terms of being the partner or the partnership organizations that are going to fuel and support this growth in future. For me, it's actually about organizations and individuals who are values driven as well as value. Colin mentioned earlier about what makes a sustainable business is its profit, but I would go further than that. It's not just that, it's how you deliver that profit. and what values lie behind that. So the organisations that are going to support London's growth are going to be those businesses and individuals and third sector organisations that actually represent London at their best, to be effectively the brand ambassador for London. And it's something we're sensitive to and are absolutely committed to. So if you want to be a true partner, that collaboration does require a different outlook on life. And for us, it starts very much with our own people. So the quality of life of those people, getting up early, it was mentioned earlier about arriving quite tired at work, that's something that does test us. So finally, the point to make linked to that is the nature of the type of partnerships that are likely to exist in future. I believe that businesses like ours are going to have to think differently. Whilst we have been good at delivering our traditional services, construction, support services, property services, and so on, we need to really understand what makes places tick, both from a creation viewpoint, but also a management, long-term management. By that I mean it's about the outcomes that our work has on those places. So the imprint we leave on those communities we work with is long-lasting, and it is for the right reasons. So understand in things like how adult care and healthcare integration need to occur from a London perspective gets to the very heart of the infrastructure that's needed to support the housing needs, healthcare needs, and so on. And those businesses and partnerships that have that thinking at their heart are going to be what I believe act as the leaders of that future growth in London. That's really my main points. Thank you.
Paul, thank you very much indeed.